Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to see your face.
I'm happy to see you.
I don't know. We don't get to see each other enough, I don't think.
I know.
Doesn't cut it. I wanted to thank you for being here to talk to me today about Rebel School and your experience. So, would you tell people a little bit about why you did Rebel School and a little bit about what your experience was like?
So it's kind of funny because I am not a Rebel School candidate in my own mind. I'm not a rebel. I never have been. And I had to figure out what that meant for me. And the reason that I took the class is because of you. I mean, obviously, because you're just such a great coach. And I thought if you told me that the course would be good for me, then it would be. But in my mind, I was thinking, well, I'm not a rebel. What is, I thought it was going to be all about politics and advocating for things in the world and all of these things that are so overwhelming, and I'm certainly interested in, but I don't really have a lot of time or mental capacity to tackle right now. But I did it anyway because I knew that I could trust you, and I love your workshop. I did the Fanning the Flames workshop, and my 14-year-old actually got stuff out of it. And so I knew that there would be stuff in there that would be helpful for me. And I'm so glad I did, because I was totally wrong about what was meant by Rebel School. So
I love that. I run into that so much. People, I think because I speak out so politically, people make assumptions that everything I do is about politics. And so I love that you brought that up, because that's kind of frustrating. And I don't quite know how to surmount that,
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you said that, because Rebel School is not about politics. And in fact, I've had a couple of people ask if we're going to get into politics, and that's not at all what it's about. It's about growth and expansion and shifting your mindset so that you can get the most out of your life, which is in and of itself a rebellion, right?
Right.
So if you could pinpoint one thing that has shifted for you because of your experience in Rebel School, what's one thing that you took away that's going to stick with you for the long term?
Through the homework and the discussions that we had, I realized that I had mental blocks that I didn't even know about, that have been there for at least 20 years. And I don't know that I'm past those blocks yet, but I have an awareness, and now I can put kind of a name on the feelings, right? So I'm able to deal with these things in a different way and continue practicing that, because I don't think it's going to be something that just is magic. But I was blown away, because I feel like I'm really self-aware in general, that there were things that came out through this process that I was like, holy cow, I cannot believe I have been doing that, and doing that for a really long time. So that was really big for me.
I think that so many of us, especially when we're strong, independent women, think that we don't need help, or we get told that we don't need help, or we can figure it all out ourselves, right? And I think the magic of coaching, especially group coaching, is that you're not just getting one-on-one coaching with the coach, but you're kind of coached through the group, right? People inspire you and they support you, and then you can also ask questions. And you're creating, Rebel School is set up to create a community in and of itself to help the participants who go through it. So can you say a little bit about the community and what your favorite part was about the group coaching experience and the experience you had with the other people in the group?
I think when you are hiring a life coach or a personal coach, that is all about you. And this group coaching perspective helps you realize things that you don't realize you need to work on, because you're listening to other people and then you identify with it. And you're like, wait a second, I do that too. So there's that component. But then there's also the celebrating wins with people. I mean, we all need to be motivated. We all need to be celebrated. And I don't think a lot of us get that very much. And you totally get that in this group. And I don't know really how we all clicked so well. I don't know how we were all so similar. I don't feel like we were really similar people per se, or our lives were very similar, but we definitely have things in common that I think helped us all.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe it's magic. Maybe I'm just good at putting people together.
Well, that is a given, yes.
Yes. If you could talk to people who are thinking about doing Rebel School or thinking about working with me, if you could say anything to them, especially if they're on the fence or they're having a hard time deciding whether or not they want to work with me, what would you tell them?
Well, I would just say do it. I think if you are on the fence at all, that means you have things that you are subconsciously aware of that you need to work through. And that can be scary, right? Because, I mean, full disclosure, you've been my best friend for a really long time. And it's hard sometimes to talk to people who aren't going to let you use your excuses, or, you know, they're going to be like, wait, look at what you just did. And that can be scary. But I think the benefits of it are they're just amazing. I would just say invest in yourself and be prepared to learn things that you really had no idea were there.
That's awesome. There was a moment in Rebel School when you were listening to me coach the other people in the group. And I remember you being totally blown away by how I coach. And one of the things that you said was that it was really awesome for you to watch how I use my instinct to connect with people, and how we created that safe, beautiful community to be doing really hard work in, I think.
Yeah.
And I joked that I love to make people cry because it's like a superpower. But is there anything that I'm not asking you because of your own experience that you want people to know about Rebel School, and what is there anything I'm not asking you that you think people should know?
So I just think people should know that there are going to be things that you get out of this program that you never knew you needed. I mean, I keep saying that over and over again. It was the best thing I didn't know I needed. The homework, the writing prompts, if you have any inclination at all to work on personal issues, whether they're in the past or right now, or, you know, it's applicable to the whole spectrum of your whole life, I would say just do it. It's incredible. And that moment I had when I was watching you coaching those other people was because I've had you in my life as a friend, but you genuinely care about people, and you're able to get through stuff that people are saying in such an amazing way that I feel like people probably feel like they've known you forever. So
that's awesome.
There you go. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say about Rebel School that you haven't said?
Not without giving things away, but just be prepared to, in a pretty minimal amount of time, because that was one of my blocks, was worrying that I wouldn't have time. And it was kind of hard because I was multitasking at work and I was listening and not always able to engage as much as I wanted. But I just, I lost my train of thought, sorry, but you're going to be able to get things out of this no matter how much time you spend on it. So if you have a little bit of time, do it. If you have all the time, great. You know, just do it, because it's awesome and you'll get something out of it, regardless of how much time you have or what you think you need.
That's awesome that you brought that up, because we tried to create it. When I created Rebel School, and I was talking about it with my assistant, we talked about how can we give you the most information that you can get in an amount of time that's digestible, especially for super busy women or super overwhelmed women, right? And so the homework and the audios that go along with the homework are short. They're not like these big long things that are going to take you hours. And then the coaching, of course, the coaching is, you know, an hour a week, and then you get your one-on-one coaching. And so I'm glad to hear that it fit in the time frame that you needed it to. That's really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would have wished I would have had more time, but there are things that I can still work on now and do it in the time that I have. So
well, yeah, because you still have access to all the audios and all the worksheets and everything. So that's great.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Yay.
Great. Well, thank you for your time, Kristen.
Yeah, it was great. I hope people do it. I hope people invest in themselves, because I feel like everybody needs this, whether they know it or not.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.